I saw wasn't human.
Oh my God!
It was very tall. What's more, it saw me. This thing.
Rawhead Rex.
This podcast is not safe for work and will feature movie spoilers. It will feature scenes described of a graphic nature. It will contain language which most listeners may find offensive. Welcome to the podcast Under the Stairs. And welcome back to another instalment of Rawhead Rex in Pieces. This is a sub-series of the podcast Under the Stairs where we take the genre classic from the 80s, Rawhead Rex from 1986. We break it up into 5-minute reviewable segments. I invite podcasters from around the globe to join me and sit down and discuss those 5 minutes in a slightly longer form, going into every nook and cranny. The kicker, as we do on Podcast Under the Stairs, is we like to throw a little curveball at our listeners. The curveball is these episodes are released non-linear. They're put into a randomizer, and that dictates when they come out. So this may be the first episode you're hearing, might be at the very end or somewhere in the middle. You kind of want this to be somewhere in the middle because this is minutes 20 through 25. So if we started here or ended here, it would be wholly confusing, which is kind of part of the fun. Now, at the 20-minute mark of this, we have a scared farmer's housewife who is hiding behind a door. And at the 25-minute mark, we have the fuzz arriving at the farm. So that's your bookmarks here. Joining me on this episode, he actually did the preceding 5 minutes, which is a rarity in this format. He is, of course, my long-suffering colleague. He is the man, the myth, the legend, the Baz.
Potatoes, sexy bitches. I can't remember. Was that Vic Reeves that used to do that?
It sounds like something he probably did.
Was it Ant and Dec?
No, that sounds more like.
You're not as racist as that, right?
Yeah, Vic Reeves has a certain sort of pub humour that probably would just be like potatoes and like a kind of jaunty little shuffle, and everyone would laugh a lot. Shooting stars ahead of its time, Baz. Ahead of its time. Still can never hear the name Eureka without adding 7 Ks at the end of it.
And then masturbating for an hour or so.
Well, she was like, I get it.
She was a get it.
Yeah.
She's a get it. That's the rapiest thing I've ever heard you say.
This movie's doing things to me. Watching it in these 5-minute segments out of order is slowly destroying me. Right, like, we left listeners on bated breath, or potentially will future listeners stuck on bated breath as to what actually befalls this poor farm wife. So let's swing into it, right? No airs, no gracies. She's stuck behind the door and she's listening, Baz.
Yeah, and she's just lost her spaghetti.
She's just...
and
her husband.
And her husband, but mostly, I mean, that was the good Christmas spaghetti.
Oh,
Duncan,
no,
do you know what I mean? That
not
was
Christmas spaghetti.
That was the expensive stuff. You know what I mean? Saved all year for that fucking spaghetti. And Big Rawhead tossed it asunder with nary a thought. Son of a bitch.
Christmas was like, I can't imagine it's like I can't imagine any day that opening. I think the only thing that would offend your partner more than opening a good Christmas present and finding it was spaghetti is if she opened it and there was an ironing board in it. Surprise! I know how you always love doing the ironing.
Interesting fact though, in the original version of what was the fucking novel that Scrooge was based on?
Christmas Carol.
You know, in the original Christmas Carol, at the end when Ebenezer is chucking out the money to the street urchins below, he does in fact say, "Run and get me the good pasta." From Giuseppe's store. None of your dried pasta now. I want the fresh stuff.
The finest
Maybe
fresh
even
pasta.
the tagliatelle.
The finest linguine in all of Christendom.
That's... Oh, I love it when you out-baz the Baz. Well done, my friend. Hats off to you. That was a fine line.
Thank you.
Finest linguine in all of Christendom. That's going to my fucking gravestone.
Context for no reason. Was he a big pasta lover? Not really, no.
Not really. You can take it or leave it, to be quite honest.
I don't get it. Most of us don't. Duncan insisted it was on there because he's got a recording of Baz saying that. Do you think he was joking? No, Duncan said he was serious. So anyway, as she's listening at the door, Rawhead smashes right through the door, grabs at her belly, claws at it, but she falls backwards, and he comes in the room. I mean, like, there is a weird kind of like lightning effect happening inside her house, which doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah. It's like like he's not conducting electricity, so I don't know why that's happening, but it's there anyway. Once again, it's making it look like a really, really, really bad fucking 80s hair metal fucking band music. Yeah,
video. And it continues through these next couple of scenes. But
it's never used anywhere else in the movie, and there's no context for it either. So it's a weird fucking thing. It's almost as if they started using it, and the special effects man was like, "Listen, this is going to cost a lot to do it for the rest of the movie." And they were like, "What can we get cheap?" And they're like, "Well, that fire jelly that we can put on people and it sets them up. Let's just use that in every other scene after this, because there's a whole lot of people being set on fire in this movie." And anyway,
it's almost like the film shit.
71 times I've watched this movie.
That's shot.
That's not a joke we've carried over from the previous recording.
Everybody will get. God, hope this comes out in right order.
I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't. So they'll be like, Duncan. Oh, now it all makes sense. The joke makes sense now.
15 days later. Now I get that. Right, okay.
I've got some notes that have been taken while listening to this, and one of this is that Duncan said something about 71 days and then kind of giggled. I don't know what it is. Anyway, she quickly falls over, and then Rawhead comes up to her and is about to claw her and is like, at a pregnant belly, and this stops him from attacking her. Now, once again, this is actually not paid off in any way, shape or form at all in this, out with the fact it's alluded to that he might be a fertility demon.
See, I was going to bring this up, actually, in proper conversation about this, because the ending of the movie, without jumping into somebody else's slot, kind of hint, you get that whole kind of sacred feminine kind of vibe coming out. And obviously, the stone that he lives under looks like a massive cock.
It's a giant, and that's where the 4K UHD comes in amazing, because you can count the fucking veins.
So now I can kind of understand why Barker got so pissed with this, because you've got to think that the fertility, because it makes sense. But you could also see why a casual viewer would totally skate past all of this.
The original.
And if that's the case, then this scene makes no fucking sense.
The original Barker stuff is far headier. Although Rawhead Rex in that is a giant marauding penis. He's a penis monster with teeth in its urethra.
Nice.
So it is like the male version of the movie Teeth. And like all the stuff that's in here that's kind of questioning the church or the idea of churches being built on pagan grounds, or like you know, like all that stuff feels very much like something Clive Barker would be like, yeah, this is really cool shit, I can write about this for days. And then it gets handed to this director and he's just like, we can drop this bit, we don't need to worry about this bit, we'll just do this. And like none of this stuff really truly, it's never really clear what Rawhead's modus operandi in this movie actually is. No. Like, at all. We never get any context for it either. And also, apparently, he predates the church, so why would be... I don't know. There's a couple of things that just like... Anyway. Right. So, anyway, we're giving this too much credit. Let's not give it too much credit. Oh, yeah. Right. Far too much. So, like, while this is all happening, we get a very quick shot of Verger Declan O'Brien, which they might as well just called Tatty McTatty. Like, he's like fucking... in the church, smiling maniacally at a stained glass window.
Talking in tongues.
We don't really get much of him in your segments, which is a shame because he's fucking great. He's the MVP of this movie. He's like absolutely brilliant. But we get a quick shot of him, and then we've got Alan Beck and his wife walking up a village street, and the wife is like, "Did you hear that? Listen." And David Duke's like, "It's just more thunder, I think." And she's like,
"That's not, no, see, there's a subtext that you're completely missing, because what your man there is thinking is, why did you choose the all yellow ensemble?"
She is wearing something which is pretty out there.
So she's got a nice wee jaunty yellow scarf. Yep. That's fine. Borders on a pashmina, truth be told. And it's got a kind of slightly matching yellow jacket thing under it, and then another pair of fucking trousers in a completely different shade of yellow. Yep. She looks like a decaying corn cob.
I love that you
start to rot from the feet up, basically.
You're passing judgment on a woman's dress sense right now. Would you like to explain to the listeners what's on your shirt?
Hula girls with Armalite rifles and bright orange lilies.
Yep, as you do.
Yeah, it's an advert for terrorism, basically. Tits and terrorism. Sponsored by the Baz. Thank you, Dixon. Please sponsor me, because if I have to buy any more of your shirts, my wife will leave me.
Oh man, our big buddy Scott was the one that was kind of really got our interest piqued in it, and yeah,
fuck him, it's his fault entirely.
But I do love that he'd said something like he said something along the lines of about the sale. Did anyone get anything in the sale? I kind of have to rein back just now. And I was like, my wife, like she got something, I got something. It's like that's what you need to do. You just need to get them buying stuff along beside you. You've been buying longer than me. Had you not cracked this code, Scott? It's an amateur move. Rookie move.
Totally. My wife got one for Bakelite present day this year.
There you go.
And I got two.
So 3 for 2. 3 for 2. Yes, so I kind of had to balance it out. No, your one wasn't the free one though. Yours was the most expensive, so I know
of course.
Always bad. See, I'm with you, and I can be between the lines. She is wearing a horrible outfit though. This absolutely horrible. So like you say, decaying. Like fucking bit of corn. I say she looks like fucking Lala from the Teletubbies if Lala was on a hunger strike. You know what I mean? She just fucking looks... it's terrible, but they're walking up this small Irish village, population maybe, what was it, 400 and something, of which I think we only ever get to see about 6. The rest of them are all in caravans living like the fucking Lost Boys or the Merry Men. In the fields. So there's only like about 6 buildings in this village, but they're walking up romantically together. Fuck knows who's looking after the kids. Like they have 2 small kids, and you know what I mean? What's happening with that? Who the fuck knows? So basically what you have is you have them kind of walking up this high street hand in hand. And then they decide out of nowhere, you know what time it is? It's time for some good old-fashioned necking.
Hardcore tongue action.
This is, I said this to you, we joked about it slightly earlier. This is maybe one of the worst kisses I've seen on screen. It's horrible.
Yeah.
My skin was fucking
See, to not arouse the Baz, you have to plumb the depths of bad kissing. Do you know what I mean?
Like, she's like, do you hear that? And there's Thunder, I think, and she says, "Why did we have to come here during the monsoon season?" Badumch. And Duke's like, "You know what? I quite like this place. It's quite charming." And she's like, "It's dead." And he's like, "What do you expect from me? A historian. I prefer dead things." And she says, "Oh, I'll bear that in mind." And I'm like, what fucking sex game is this?
Yeah. Oh, but you must be soaking wet now, love.
I
prefer dead things.
Straight up.
I'll just lie there.
They call that pulling a Ted Bundy. You know what I mean? Like, where it's like, just like, like fuck me like you're dead. Right, it's just like, it's so fucking weird. But he's like that. He's like, well, there are one or two exceptions. And she's like, name one. And he just shoves his tongue right in her throat. I gag.
Doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense because she's like that. What's the other one? And then he kisses her again. And I'm like, that's just the same thing.
Yeah, like, no, she popped a finger up her ass or something like that. Vary it. You know what I mean? Throw a wee curveball in there.
Well, they stop and she's like that. You haven't kissed me like that in a long time. And this is peak level. This is a historian, which means he has access to all the world's literature over time.
Yeah.
And the best line they can come up with is, "Your very dirty eyes." Has anyone ever told you that? And I'm like, "Your very dirty eyes."
Dirty eyes, yeah.
Very dirty eyes.
Dirty mouth.
Very dirty eyes.
That line works.
Very dirty eyes and a pungent aroma. Let's fuck. You know what I mean? It's a terrible line. And her retort is, how these guys had kids is beyond me. Her retort is practically everybody, which means that there are people that didn't say that. And those are sensible people.
Everybody else.
Then they start kissing again, right? And then a villager who's dressed up like the killer from Don't Look Now just walks up.
God damn it, that was more like funny than this movie. I'm holding on to it. Because the wife goes like that. She reminds me of somebody, and I'm like, yeah, the wee kid from Don't Look Now.
Yep. I think it's the same. It's not the same actress. Although if I say it 6 times in this recording, that becomes fact. That joke will make sense somewhere else in the series
At
as well.
some other point, I get the joke.
Because I explained it.
But fuck you, you preempting bitch.
Sorry, I can't help it that we've been podcasting so long. Hey, listen, there's no prouder moment than I right now that you've just referenced Don't Look Now, one of my favourite horror movies ever made. And you did it in a comedic way where you pulled it out. And guess what? It was used correctly. I mean, right now I'm a proud papa. Everything is like... I'm over the moon. But yeah, she stands and awkwardly stares at them. And then she does the... and they stop, and then they kind of like make a human arch for it to get through. And then she walks through it, and you're right, they basically... that she's like, well, she'll certainly know us next time. And the wife's like, strange. And he's like,
yeah, but I mean, what the fuck does that even mean?
I don't know.
To be honest, I mean, this is filmed in Ireland, right? If that had been factually correct, that old lady would have shot the man and had the women shipped off to some kind of religious home for whores. You know?
Oh, they're taking a pounder in these recordings. They really, really are. I mean, they're known for their good humour, so we should be fine here. She's like, he goes, what do you mean? And she says, reminds me of something. Somebody. Once again, this doesn't pay off at all.
No.
The weird thing about it, and the thing that once again doesn't tie up or make sense anywhere, in the stained glass window, and I've just thought of this, in the stained glass window, the person holding the stone with the light that comes out is wearing a red robe. Which is somewhat this.
Up in that at all.
I've literally just picked up it now, and I'm kind of hoping that that's not what they were aiming for, because that makes zero fucking sense.
Yeah.
Like 0 sense. Because there's a through line in this where David Duke is convinced that the villagers know about Rawhead, even though he was buried 2,000 years ago or some shit like that. Like, they still talk about him. Like, remember that Rawhead guy?
There's kind of hints in the film.
Yeah.
It's a bit almost kind of Wicker Man-esque that maybe do the villagers know about Rawhead and I don't know, like, worked to keep him imprisoned or secretly worshipped him or some fucking thing.
Yeah.
But again, goes nowhere.
Never touched on. Never. It's never elaborated on. It's a throwaway thing. But anyway, so like David Duke and his wife are walking, and he says, "Well, about that hotel," and then the camera pans in on the old woman as she turns around slowly to look at them walking away. And you're right, Baz. I think she's thinking, "Where did I put the gun, and how quickly can I get her shipped away?"
Get that fucking whore out my village.
We then switch.
Oh, fuck off, you slut! Oh, God.
This Rathmore is a respectable place. Like, instantly turns into the League of Gentlemen. You know, well, I have no trouble here. So basically, we once again then pan to the verger, who's standing still staring at the same church window smiling for half a second. Yeah. And then we go back to the farm where like a random man shows up with the most elaborate fucking fleshlight I've ever seen. Either that or it's for milking cows, one of the two, but my brain went fleshlight.
No, in fairness, it's a cow milking machine, but there is absolutely no way he wasn't fucking that cow milking machine. Do you know what I mean? That's what they call the Irish fleshlight. Do you know now? This is a true fucking story. See, when I watched the movie the other... No, I didn't. Fuck up. No. Just because I'm fair guile, I'm fucking farming machinery. Is that what you're saying, McLeish? No, when I rewatched the film the other night there, the guy with the milking machine. I was so convinced that was a young Ardal O'Hanlon that I went on to IMDb to check is that Ardal O'Hanlon from Father Ted in an early role. It's not.
No.
It's not. And on second watching,
yep,
it doesn't even look like him.
Are you saying in some weird way that all Irish people look alike?
No, I'm saying I need to pay more attention when I'm watching films, basically.
So he comes up with this milking machine, right? And he sees the smashed door, sees the smashed window, walks by like 3 big fucking blood stains on the ground without even noticing, and then walks in. Dennis's body's gone. And
the door's all lacerated as well. Sure.
Everything's fucked, right? But he still walks into this house. Would I fuck, right? He's like, what the hell? Oh, sorry, what the hell? And then he walks in. He walks. It's back. And it's great. And he goes, Dennis, Jenny, are you in there? That's went a wee bit Yorkshire. I don't know what's that. My brain's fucked. He continues walking along until he reaches the stair, and he's like, Dennis. And then he walks up the stairs into the bedroom where he finds, stop laughing at me, Jenny. And he's like, so he walks to the door and he goes, Jen, what happened here? Sit down in your seat now. I had a teacher that said that. That's like our name was...
That's Northern Ireland, you
Yes, but that's what she said. I didn't say it was that. I just remember that's a phrase that I always come back to when I think of Irish accent is her... Is that she was a teacher, a very young teacher, like a student teacher thing. Her name was Miss Neereen. And that's like, that literally was the only phrase that I could make out. She talked that quick was like, if people start making a noise, she'd like fucking slam this and she'd go, sit down in your seat now! Like that, and everyone would fucking sit down. I'm also fairly sure she did the voiceovers for Jerry Adams. So... Just saying, when they couldn't like remember that whole time period you couldn't get his voice, and the voice they put over was even more.
Wasn't allowed to speak on the telly.
But the voice they put over was even more terrifying. like you see it, like there was emotion in it. That's what made it terrifying. Because if you've ever actually heard Jerry Adams talking anything, there is no fucking. He has the dead voice, dead behind the eyes like a shark. But like the voice I was put in there was like, you know, why don't you do a show on the Jersey Devil? You know what I mean? Like he's like fuck. absolutely fucking terrifying.
See, I would never have got that joke about fucking 10 years ago.
Baz, we've leveled
up. And now I'm sitting here, I've pissed myself a wee bit. Because that was a brilliant joke about the last broadcast.
And you got the film as well. Listen. This is worth this recording. So anyway, he's like, Jen, what happened here? And she turns around, and this is her moment. This is her time to shine.
Oh, yeah.
She snarls and lifts up her hands like cat claws, and then grabs the side of her face, and like an anime character, or Macaulay Culkin just slapping some aftershave on his face after he's shaved in Home Alone. She just goes, ah, like this, and we then pan to the police arriving, and that's the end of your 5 minutes.
Yeah. It's not the best segment.
It's not. It's an uncomfortable segment. I do need to ask you if there is a particular line of dialogue or a thing that happens in these 5 minutes that you would highlight as your favourite. I
liked the wee woman in the red coat because it did make me laugh thinking about Don't Look Now. And she, as you say, it's just so oddly misplaced that there's no need for it. There isn't. If you just watched this 5 minutes, it would almost imply maybe there's something strange about the people in this village. Again, that kind of Wicker Man kind of vibe.
Yeah, that's a folk horror thing.
Because all the other people that you meet have a part to play. They're either police, or they are victims of Rawhead, or they are, family of victims of Rawhead. Everybody has a little part to play.
Yeah.
Apart from this crazy wee bitch in the red coat.
Yep. The only time you ever see any other townspeople, you see two women who don't say good morning till when he walks past. And that is it.
Oh, yeah.
That's literally the only villagers you see in this movie that behave in this way. Everyone else is presumed either living in the woods, so gypsies, I would assume, or like they are the police from outside the town who really look dim their nose upon pretty much everyone in this movie. Like they constantly feel like they're better, even though they're the main reason shit goes sideways in this movie. I suppose for me, I quite like. I like that awkward interaction as well, because it is just so like, this is what we're doing here.
Yeah, and then like you say, why don't you walk round them?
Yeah, she's like, no, this is my path. I've walked this path for years, and you American bastards aren't coming over here. There's no oil in these streets, Baz. Yeah. There's no oil in these streets.
It's not as if they're blocking the pavement in Oxford Street. Do you know what I mean? You're frightened to step off the curb lest a black cab fucking run you down. You know what I mean? A horse and cart had gone up that street 4 days ago.
Yes.
But beyond that,
no one else.
You're fucking golden walk round them.
Yeah. It's a strange scene, like you say. It doesn't really amount to anything, and as a result of that, it's the thing that stands out is inherently odd in these 5 minutes, and that's what you end up taking away from it. I've had once again a blast chatting about these 5 minutes. We have somehow managed to make 2 5-minute segments, probably the least entertainment 5-minute segments of this movie, into what I'm going to say are my 2 favourite recorded episodes. So.
Well, that's what the wife says about the fucking 5 minutes I normally give her.
I could see a wee twinkle.
At least it was funny.
I could see a wee twinkle in your eye, and I was like, that he's about to mind the gutter. I could feel it. There was no way it wasn't. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for checking out this installment of Rawhead Rex and PCs. Like I said at the start, there's a random order in which these will come out. So this might be the first one. This might be the very last one. It could be in the middle. Wherever it is, though, during this month, we're releasing an episode of Podcast Under the Stairs every single day. So you will be sick of my voice regardless. So all that's left for me to say is I will speak to you next time.